this specific roster.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Why
Well,
else would they do this? Why else?
it would give the only possible reason.
It makes
Regardless,
perfect sense.
to a certain extent, veteran, the roster swaps and all the instability there is a little bit secondary, to be perfectly honest, because I think regardless of what fourth wall roster you've got hitting the Rift here, a game against Verdant is always going to be tough, right?
A game against Verdant, against natives, possibly against Ruddy, depending on what they decide to do that day. That's always going to be one of the tough ones, right? But we don't even know what a game against this version of fourth wall is like. You always have to bear that in mind, alright? Are fourth wall really the ones that have to be scared? Right? They've already... All warfare is an information game, alright? I'm not saying this is war. But if this was war, fourth wall are closing in on Berlin, you know? That's what I'm saying.
I'm feeling like Sun Tzu would be very appreciative of the styles and the tactics that they've drawn out. And do you know what? Yeah, actually, go on then, veteran. I've seen all of the Verdant players play games. I've seen the Verdant players lose games as well. And
You have.
This
So
fourth wall roster, completely unique, never been seen before, could get it done. I mean,
Like
joking aside,
legendary warrior, long-haired warrior, I'm a cutie pie said, if I don't know what I'm doing, how can they know what I'm doing?
incredible stuff. Oh man, he really was the GOAT. Really was the GOAT. Uzi? Nah, no
Dude, he
idea.
last
Never
played
heard of him.
professionally like 2 weeks ago.
That's true, actually.
Still
Well,
is.
that was the Challengers League in NA, all of that
Yep.
sort of stuff going on there.
There he is open, by the way.
Zeri, it is open on red side. This has somehow happened, and Verdant not going to opt to pick it up. So we've got Lulu locked in alongside the Sojourning. Obviously, with the Lulu, you are anticipating a hyper carry to come down there in some form. But it is interesting that we've seen stuff like the Aphelios and the Zeri fall this low in the Prio.
Yeah, I mean, that's because if you pick the Lulu and the enemy picks a Zeri composition, they're not going Zeri Yumi, they have to go Zeri plus some kind of a melee champion. There is not going to be a Enchanter they go that's going to be able to match the Lulu, not with all of these bans. So either the enemy goes Zeri in a suboptimal situation, and you get Lulu Aphelios, which would actually be pretty decent at that point, or they go Aphelios and you go for the Zeri yourself. They've gone for the Aphelios, they've gone point and click with the Nautilus. That is effectively a preemptive attempt to counter a Zeri, right? Point and click CC, that's what you don't want as Zeri, that's what you don't want as Lucian, similar conditions apply. So they do have one tool to use into a potential Zeri Lulu, but they're into Zeri Lulu. They're into Zeri Lulu. Verdant don't know what they're into, but, you know, these guys know they're into Gooby Zeri and Wendell Lulu, right? So...
Yeah, and Gooby Zeri is going against someone in the bottom lane playing Aphelios. He's fingers crossed that it isn't Liam Cole on another account. I think that's what Verdant are thinking right now.
Or them bots now. I won't hear slander on my
pretty
word
good.
and box.
He's pretty good. I wasn't slandering him. It wasn't slandering. It's just Liam Cole's Aphelios seemed to be like the plat de jeu, you know?
It changes the game when he gets it. That is for sure. That is for sure.
Really does.
Interesting to see what the second bans are, right? Because at this point, you are thinking about what is really good with the Nico. The obvious one is going to be that Viego. The second obvious one, I would think, would be the Wukong. But a common strategy of Nico is to play Nico minion in lane, on the side lane later on, opens up an engage, Nocturne, slams on it, right? Nico as this kind of pseudo side laner, or even, say, you can picture a scenario where Nico pretends to be a Gromp or something, right, in enemy jungle, and then Nocturne comes in on that engage, right? There are plenty of ways Nico can engage around the map, and Nocturne can follow up on all of them, so that is a classic duo.
Veteran, I will never forget, I think it was either the first or the second day after the Nico rework came out, and I was playing games with one of my mates who went, guys, I've just got a Heart Seal stack on a minion. And if that's happening, run. Not quite the levels of Hidden Burst, but coming out from the Syndra. Everyone knows what this champion does.
Yeah, and crucially, the things that you want to be able to counter the Syndra don't counter the Zeri, and the things that counter the Zeri don't counter the Syndra. So you really have a nice two-way going on here. It makes it difficult for the enemy to decide what they want last. I approve of the Azir ban. I actually like Azir into Nico. And that appears to have come around to be a mainstay matchup. He has the ability to outrange a Nico, and he has disengage against Nico as well. I'm going to throw a combo at you, alright?
Yep.
Nico Elise. Alright? Hear me out here.
Yeah.
You can Mirage as one of Elise's tiny spiders.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And you
Oh,
just
that's
follow,
so gross.
Follow Elise around.
That's
It's a
no,
tiny
but
spider.
come
You
on,
never know.
come on, veteran! Every single professional player is keeping a constant track of Elise's spiderlings when they're playing. there's so much counterplay there. What are you talking about, bro?
True. I want to see someone do it. We're going a bit more traditional. It's a Kindred with potentially a matchup that after the first 3 levels is likely to be able to get some kind of priority on bot side.
Veteran. Look at the champion that Nile's playing.
Yeah, it's Jax. I mean, it's Nilla on Jax. I mean, this is normal.
He's back.
Right?
He's back, bro.
Yeah, I know Nilla's gonna do Jax. I don't know what 4-4 they're gonna do.
They haven't put him on Jax all summer, bro. And he's finally got carry agency.
He doesn't even know if he's been counterpicked in like player draft, right? For all we know, Faye is like an antimatter equivalent of Jax that balances out of Nilla Jax that balances out the equation. You don't know that. We don't know that. He could have fallen right into their trap. He's like, guys, all right, let's just give Nilla what he wants. He'll never know what he's up against, right? But yes, we are seeing Nilla on a split pusher right at the start. You may recall everyone thought, by everyone I mean me and like 2 other people. I think this guy was one of them. Where it was, where we were all figuring Verdant are building a team where they can play around Nilla, and they're going to be really good at doing that. And then they never did it, right? They actually had Nilla play for them. They had Nilla play for the 2 solo lanes, and he can do that. But we're finally getting a game played around Nilla. We were thinking like, slam that Camille, slam that Jax, slam all these split pushers, right? Throw him in on the Fiora. Let's go balls to the wall. Didn't happen, but now, against their toughest opponents yet, right? When they have no clue what to expect, they trust in themselves. They trust in themselves at their strongest, and at their strongest is definitely Vanilla, the champion, like the Jax.
Yeah, is absolutely insane as a sideline threat against that. And Veteran, obviously, fourth wall here. The players they've picked up to sub into these positions are some of the greatest mechanical players in the world, right? That's the only logical assumption. I don't know.
Maybe they are.
Only logical assumption that we can make, right? But looking at the champions that they are playing, remove these names from the equation. Do you feel like this composition from fourth wall can match up against what Verdant are going to want to be doing?
They do have really good priority options to play for Kindred sacks. They do have that. After the first 3 levels, you will end up on the slopers, you will end up on an angle for the Kindred. What I do think is likely to happen is you're going to see some kind of early gank setup around the bot lane with that Kindred. Top lane basically just has to survive. If it's on mini Gnar, it kind of becomes difficult. But you can be in a position where you have control of these rivers and you're able to play for these sacks on Kindred. And then, I do like the composition. I do like the composition that they are running. But it's very Lulu. It modifies the game.
Yeah.
Right? It's Syndra. It does have ways to control long-range champions, right? I do still think that once you add the nameplates back in, it's a straight draft win from Team on the right. And I think the opening rotations with nameplates off do put the draft in favor of them. Yeah,
well, I mean, it's difficult to have bad drafts when you're this good, but the fact that you've got good drafts as well is going to make things even better for you. And
for sure.
I think for Verdant, we could very much just get a situation that we kind of saw from Nord in the last game, where you go, do you know what? We've got Zeri Lulu. We know that at 35, 40 minutes into the game, we win. And as long as we can deny fourth wall the opportunities to snowball, with the way that the game's going, right? But fundamentally, Verdant are going to win at some point. The onus is on fourth wall to do things before their opponents to put themselves in a position where that Zeri isn't going to be a threat in the late game.
For sure. I mean, there are angles. They have really good engage on 2 of their lanes. Right?
Yeah.
That's what they want to play with. Right? They want to play that Nika, they want to play that Nautilus. They want to play that Kindred. They want to have these opportunities open for them to be skirmishing for fighting. They want to treat it more like how Ruddy treated their game. Always trying to force, trying to get something. But they actually want to get that last 2 bits of HP off at the end. Right? That little bit of modification, and they have a shot. Otherwise, if Zoe gets to 3 items, and you may as well call it.
Yeah, maybe there's crazy flank angles that we could see coming out from Faye and Jin Ray. It's Zeri, right?
There is no angle, right? You come here and she bounces all the way over there.
Oh, you know? She's just dashed 2,000 units over a wall, and now she is 1v1ing my AD carry, and everyone's going to die. We are just waiting for a player pause to get into the game. Producers just asked that we don't ask for any more logos to come up on the stream. Oh, I don't know, man.
Is there anything creative with these?
I don't know. I think Verdant, you've got like the V there, which stands for Verdant. They have put it on its side, potentially a little bit tilted.
What is that dot?
What, I think it's just there to signify that it's... Hold on, I'm looking at the Verdant loader, and I'm trying to think, like, how many letters could you actually make out of that? Is there a situation where you could get every single letter somehow out of that? I'm not too sure. Anyway, we're on the Rift, okay? There's other things that we kind of want to be talking about. No early aggression from either of these junglers, just trading information on various sides of the map.
I think the dot makes an A, no?
No, it does make an A. This is what I'm thinking, right? It's like that little line to just sort of complete it. You know, try to talk about League of Legends. Try to.
I'm here to promote our valuable NLC organizations. I don't know about you, right?
And their graphic designers.
Yes. The 4-4-1, that guy had an easy job. I will say, congratulations to that guy for going his own way and not just making a logo that was the letters of his team. Congrats to that guy.
Fair play.
I mean, it's 4 walls, and then it's like it's low-key a 4, right?
Yeah.
When you put those, yeah. Like, you know, it works. The grey doesn't quite come out here. I'm noticing.
Yeah,
the 4-4 logo doesn't quite come out here.
It needs to pop a little bit more. It's the colour. I think the background doesn't quite work against that background in particular. Laning phases, as it stands, currently going in favour of Verdant spot side. Nita here with a level advantage over Jinmei. Nilla also can just be a little bit of an arsehole on the Jax. His champion, it just beats you up early game with the stacking attack speed on his passive, and as soon as he gets that Divine Sender, he is one-shotting people.
Yeah, just don't lose too much HP on this because you will eventually get the wave. What you don't want is for Nilla to then press E, jump on you, and go 1-for-1 because that's when the game is over. So just try not to give him on every glass stack a Q, because that's honestly how easy it is to play Jax here, right? Do you have grasp? Yes. Do you have Q?
Yep.
Yes. Press Q. Like that. Very, very good demonstration, Nilla. Thank you. Thank you. That is the Jax game. Yeah. Yep. Faye, he's on Mega. Right, so this would be a difficult one for Nilla to go 1-for-1 on. He's feeling the Demolish Proc.
Oh, you can see that. He wants that
so
Demolish
tempting.
Proc, and
yeah.
The fact that the lane is going like this already is going to be alarm bells for fourth wall, right? Because
I was thinking the other way around. I was thinking, because he hasn't died to Nilla level 3, this game's going better than expected.
I suppose it just depends on your perspective, right? But I think Nilla on Jax is not something that you really want to enable. Wendell there with a quite early move over off that recall from Gooby, who's been able to pick himself up a dagger. And I'm intrigued to see how we play around this Kindred on the side of fourth wall, because you need to get your stacks if you're going to become a champion. And Yute not really in a position to get stacks at the moment.
Yep, and Verdant using their bot lane priority to grab that scuttle, grabbing the scuttle topside as well, denying early farm away from the Kindred.
Oh,
Faye,
no.
Oh, no.
That's
on the bounce back.
That's absolutely disastrous. Right, yeah, no, because of this bounce back, he has to TP to this wave now, otherwise he's screwed, right?
Yeah, he absolutely has to. Fine. He absolutely must do so. And there's going to be the TP. Nulla can match that, but Nulla's still ultimately on a better wave, and he's on Sheen. He's probably feeling the fight right as he comes in, and it's not like Nar is just going to one-shot the wave from mini-form.
Ooh. Not only is Jinmei talented at League of Legends, he also plays football at a competitive level.
What's competitive?
Yeah, no, that's the thing.
Sure.
Yeah, because I know in England at least, the football pyramid goes all the way down to like overweight 40-year-old men playing on Sundays after 2 pints, you know?
Nice.
And it's technically competitive, right? So I don't know what level of competition we're talking about there, Jinmei.
Yeah, we're gonna need clarification from the boys who owe us a logo.
Yeah, low key, if he's playing in like Danish Premier League, I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. We're waiting, guys. Bot lane's going well for Goobster. He's also waiting for the wave to bounce back. Lulu don't have much to do on mid. Tried very hard to get a play there. Naito playing very aggressive to try to bait it out, but, you know, Jinrei wasn't falling for that one. Was not falling for that one, the possible Danish national team player there.
Yeah.
In football.
Yeah. World Cup winner, Jinrei. Only a third time the laning phase. Top lane is going really, really badly for Verdant. You have to feel this is just Nile
Yeah, it's just horrible.
Communicating to the coaching staff. It's like,
bad.
guys, just please pick me Jax. I'm really good. See, look how much I'm winning top lane, guys. Pick me Jax again.
They're like, wow, you're beating Faye. Oh my god.
Oh, right.
It's a disastrous situation Vorval are in. Let's be like, it's and this is one where Verdant are trying to break the speed record here somewhat.
Yeah.
They don't exactly have a draft that lets them do that though. There would be a temptation to just go all in, pick like Draven bot and stuff like this, but instead they have picked lanes that they're just looking for a skirmish, not even necessarily on the initial traits. But once you have big items out on the Lulu, on the Lulu Zeri. Once you have big items out on the Syndra and decent amount of stacks, once Nile gets his Divine Sunderer and just starts rolling out with even less skill than takes now on that champion, like, that's what they're looking for. They are playing a patient, considered game against a team that it would be very easy to disrespect. Like, they're not showing that level of disrespect. They're not treating this like a clown moment. They did try to get some neat forces early, but their composition overall, it does scream, we have to take this seriously. Let's just take our clean and considered win. The win is there, right? The win is there. Let's just play this out properly.
Yeah, and again, that's not like disrespect to Fourth Wall, but like a team of the caliber of Verdant, you should be winning these games. You're going to feel bad if you are not. Taxa might be making a journey to mid lane. Jinrei already using the W. That's the flash away.
How funny would it be if Fourth Wall end up in a position to grab Baron? And it's like, against any other team, you guys getting to this point, we'd be so rooting. But as is, like, Taxa's going to enjoy the Baron.
Oh.
Wow, a Taxa team behind on Baron. And there it is.
Oh no, they're just not before, right?
Yeah.
But that clutch factor on a team which is as consistent as Verdant is just this like additional dimension to them that means that they can grab wins in games where they do fall a little bit far behind and maybe aren't as activated as they could be. I think they're very happy with the game state right now as they're starting to creep up with incremental advantages in more and more of these lanes. But Fourth Wall, as long as they don't bleed out too many kills, as long as they don't bleed out too many objectives, they can keep this game competitive.
Yep, they're chilling. They're scaling on the side of Verdant. Fourth Wall, they're pretty happy that they get that initial Infernal, right? The additional bit of damage really matters given how much of their composition relies on burst coming out. They don't want to be taking these long fights. Right? Definitely not against, say, Lulu. You do not want that. And the fact that Verdant weren't thinking, okay, let's just smash these guys at the first objective, I think they're going to take that, right? They're going to take that. They know that this is a game of League that they can play out, and it looks like they want to make a play on Nulla.
Yeah, then Meganar from Faye dropping the CC down, swapping into the mini for additional DPS. Nile's counter-strike, meaning the auto's not going to come through. Fourth Wall, flashing under towers to try and get the kill.
No!
Yute, oh no, he's gone too far forward. Has to burn the Lamb's respite, but Nile just kiting around there. And actually, with Taxa moving over, they're going to look for a re-engage. Fourth Wall, they try and get too much for the play. And Verdant are going to be able to punish a second kill for Taxa.
A hair's breadth. It's like the opening game all over again. The team that has the force does get the force and is just millimeters away from a directional changing play on that top lane here this time, mid lane, when it came to the Ruddy Natives game. Damn, man, you could see it. You could see them feeling it as well. They're going to be replaying that in their heads, but they have to keep their heads in the game now.
Bot lane. This isn't looking good for Wendell. It's been caught up with the CC from Chimera.
Not again.
Wolf, just enough to keep Gooby alive. But once again, Fourth will go for a play, and they're a couple of HP from making it work.
Yep. Chimera, already a part of Fourth Wall, not one of the big subs. Able to find an angle, able to make things work. You down here, almost works on the Jax. May well work if he's able to find the angle on bot lane. And Gooby, Wendell, they are respecting this. They are respecting the opportunities that are available to Fourth Wall now, and they are staying behind, willing to absorb this wave, waiting for their jungler to be back bot side. Niter not extending as well, knowing his jungler isn't back on the map yet. A lot of respect by Verdant. Things are going their way. The inexperience of Forful is clear, but you know, they're not modifying their playstyle and making this a bit too solo queue, as one might expect to happen in a game like this.
I think one of the criticisms that we maybe had of Verdant last split was that they were just content to sit in these games where they felt like they had advantage as it got a little bit later, and they wouldn't necessarily try and close out games as soon as was possible. I think Nile happy to pick up that second plate. He's extended that CS lead in the top lane to 30, and he's one base away from the Divine Sunderer. Verdant know they don't need to do anything.
Yep, they're fully aware that so long as Zeri Lulu is able to get itemization, they are going to win at some point. Right? It is not on them. They will take any free play that Forful will give them. That is true, but they feel no need to force right now. Forful feel need to force from composition, and they must feel the pressure of playing against Verdant, right? There are multiple reasons for Forful to be playing aggro right now, and they are doing so. And Verdant, they know their job. Their job is to make sure that they don't get those angles. Level 6 plus ult on Nautilus. You could see him go for a play again. This Drake is coming up. Look where the Kindred's coming.
I love that hook there from Chimera. Just so you finish clearing out the wave, throw it down. Fourth wall. Had Yute move over. They could summon the Rift Herald. Try and get a couple of plates off that bot lane tower. Get those into Ragnar's pocket, who, do you know what? For a sub-AD carry coming in, done fairly well. The laning phase has not gone disastrously. You're even on the Aphelios, and when you've got the skirmish potential that this champion has, you don't feel awful about that.
Yep. It does need to be said, both of the kills are on the Sejuani, right? It's not like the Jax is running away with the game. It's not like the Zoe is running away with the game. And the gold that you're going to get from, well...
Oh, well, Taxa using his kills to try and get more for the rest of the team. That's already one for Verdant as they are chasing down Chimera and Ragnar in the bottom lane, flashing away on the Nautilus, hooking under tower. Just about able to get there. Ubi dashing for one more auto, but doesn't find it. Again, another play that could have resulted in slightly more kills, but this is Verdant taking the lead that the top side of the map has and rotating it down, getting it onto Gooby.
Yeah, I mean, getting that ultimate out on Sedge, really, really big. Getting the burst down, really big. And Gooby getting the first kill on a carry on the side of Verdant, that is really big. The gold that was gained from dropping that Herald bot lane has already been equalized. Yep, that's very, very big for the side of Verdant. They're the ones that want to scale. So long as the game is even, the game is good for Verdant. If the game accelerates evenly, the game is even better. Almost a solo from Niter, my lord.
Yeah, level 11 on the Sindra. Now, I feel like Niter has been a fairly understated player in the NLC thus far because he's just so consistently good in terms of his laning phases that I never find like he's in a position where he has to make a hero play to make it work. Verdant, you put him mid lane, he does very, very well regardless of the champion that you give him. He's always going to be high value, very rarely pressured.
Yep, and Taxa puts such priority onto side lane ganks and always has at every stage of his career that Niter knows a large amount of his job is to enable that kind of play from Taxa rather than demand Taxa permanently play towards his lane, permanently play to enable him to go for these solo kills, to go for high pressure scenarios. He's just a very consistent player that gets pressure, enables you to do your job, and will be a beast in those team fights later on. But because of the way that the early game has gone with a player like Niter, he really has to be in that clutch situation. We don't see clutch moments from him because that's not needed on Verdant. Yeah. The system that they've got going, it works.
You don't need to hit that clutch three-pointer if you're 20 points up when the buzzer goes, right?
True.
And I feel like that's the philosophy, that's the style that Niter really embodies. And we're talking about enabling Taxa. He's had a lovely early game for himself. 2-0-1, 100% kill participation. And the CS lead over Yute, who hasn't found access, hasn't been able to find these marks.
Yep, he has found every single time he thinks about going into the enemy jungle that... Wow.
Easy as that. Taxa comes under the tower, throws the ult, gets a kill. Response TP actually from Jim is able to get the lockdown onto Gooby and blow him up with the Pot Blossom.
Yeah, high mobility champion, but gets caught out by the skill shot from Nico nonetheless into a full burst. Almost too good to be true. Nico is now on the board. A lot of effort Nita put into pressuring that Nico, into keeping her down, to keeping her behind. Nico's bouncing back. She's gonna be a monster. We know the damage this champion can do, and they have a composition that can try to take on Jackson's side with the help of the Nico.
And when you've got a two-time Ballon d'Or winner like Jinray in the mid lane, getting those kills onto him, absolutely crucial. Messi who indeed. Nah.
If he's the best football player we have, do we call him controversial, but do we call him the Messi of the NLC?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know.
More of a Ronaldo.
Oh, right, I got so baited by that recall from Jinray there. I was like, no way, he's just recalling in the face of Nita. Gonna have to pull off something, honestly, magical, Messi-esque for fourth wall here, because they are down 4,000 gold. Verdant moving over towards the Herald. And fourth wall, not really in a position to contest the objective. Maybe going to be able to grab a pick onto Nilla, but spotted out and they get nothing.
Nilla saw Ragnar's aggression and was like, this isn't real. There's no way. You wouldn't do this without your team.
You take what? He goes straight into Windle, straight into a Polywolf. He's dropped that Lamb's Respite, but he's going to die as soon as he jumps out of it. Nita with the Unleashed Power. His first kill of the game, and not too sure what fourth wall we're doing there. Yes, the Herald is going to reset. You've got a little bit of time taken away from Verdant, but you lose your jungler as well.
Yep. A man who's still very far behind in stacks. You asked fourth wall to come up with something Messi-esque, and they have come up short. The only thing that's going well for them right now is Faye on that bot side. He's about to bounce off the tier 2. There's a lot of economy this Gnar has, but he's still so far behind Nilla on this Jax, and the team as a whole is so far behind Verdant. They need cheese
Do you even win
picks.
this?
This is an attempt. They could try.
Not going to go for it, though.
Jax still has ultimate, so I really don't think it was real. They have really high damage guns, though. If Jax burned E on the wave for whatever reason, that's when I think they go.
Yeah, I think that's that was so what they were waiting for. But Nilla has played this champion before, and opts against wasting his spells for a little bit of shove. Going to be able to take that reset, building towards his second item. Verdant yet to take a tower, but all of these are a hair's breadth away from being taken down. So not too concerned with how the game is at the moment. There we are. Nita able to pick that one up for himself.
Yep. Well done there. I'm looking at this Nico, and every time I see her on the map, I'm thinking of all of the pressure she could be getting. What was the plan there if Chimera landed that? I
think we are glad that he doesn't, and we take that.
Yeah, not much pressure on Verdant. They take that mid tower with complete ease. Jax shoving in top. Nico still unable to even push past that creep. She's terrified to go on that wave on bot lane. And Syndra now creating another pressure point on bot. A pressure point in mid being created by Zoe pushing out. All converging on this dragon. The second dragon for Verdant, because fourth were able to get the first. It looks like they might want to attempt to dive on towards the Nico. They're dropping the Herald. I forgot they had that actually from the victorious fight they got on top of the Kindred.
Yeah, and this is going to be even more solo gold on tonight. These tier 2 towers in the side lane worth a little bit more. Sniper picks that one up, and Dragon spawned onto the Rift. Verdant going to be taking that one down. Fourth wall, not really felt like they've been able to contest anything that's Verdant's done over the last couple minutes.
Yep. There's an interesting parallel here. I was saying that the Vitality versus Fnatic game was the slowest Astro Stomp I'd ever seen in my life, because Fnatic just kind of held on like a 13-for-2 score for ages. This game, Verdant are crawling their way to a completely one-sided victory, right? The kills are not coming as like a straight ace immediately. They're trickling in. The towers are trickling in. The objectives are trickling in. They didn't even get the first ones, but they have dominated the map ever since the end of the opening phases of the game. They have completely dominated it, and every time fourth will go for a cheese, Paxa is there matching. Ubi here even is here matching. Fourth just can't find it. Verdant keep getting a response.
Yeah, Gooby is going to get pulled in and actually caught out, but no, flashing Wild Growth away, and now Fourth will need to find access. Faye with the Meganar, but there's no damage to help him out. Gooby still surviving before finally dropping Ute 1v1ing Nile on the other side, and it's actually Fourth Wall who win out on that skirmish. The Verdant bot lane taken off the board, but health bars way too low for Fourth Wall to step up. Nile going forward with the counter-strike, finding a stun, but his health bar too low. Niter flies over the wall with a scan of the week to take down Chimera, but Jinray gets one on the other side. Tax now low, being 1v1 by Faye. The flash unleashed power. Niter presses the skill button and kills 3 damn people.
Ragnar's like, wait, where is everyone? What happened here? I mean, Ragnar's going to get that mid tower. That's pretty big for Fourth Wall. Alright, the slow crawl to a victory. They ended up getting stuck in the mud, and Fourth Wall were happy to wrestle them in it the whole time to the death. Verdant, though, they had the numbers advantage at every point of that fight, and they were able to misplay it because they don't have a composition that wants to be doing this. They have a composition that wants to be playing with Nilla, creating pressure points around the map. But Fourth Wall, by making the play on towards Nilla, by making the play into that pressure point, they mitigated the ability for Verdant to just run them around the map and to keep crawling to a victory. They've realized a snail's pace is Verdant's pace. We need to speed things up right now. Let's start a fight. Let's make sure that they don't have a pressure point on us, so start it on their pressure point. And Verdant, they fell into that trap. And they ended up falling. They ended up falling quite hard for it.
Yeah, Fourth Wall showing that they're not going to be going down without a fight. Faye in a very good position. Ute not, though. He's in his own jungle, but he's died 4 times. Taxa was very concerned with creating a 5th. It's not been a great performance, honestly, from the Fourth Wall jungler. And when you're on a Kindred who wants to be carrying, wants to be dishing out a load of the damage, you've failed at that goal thus far.
Dude, he's playing with the Messi of the NLC. He's going to feel some pressure.
It's not been particularly clean from Fourth Wall, but they have shown the ability to scrap and fight back. Faye, the beneficiary of a lot of gold, and Fourth Wall, seeing the move from Verdant towards the bot side, are going to start off the Baron. You are going for a Baron flip versus Verdant. Fourth Wall, they know what they're playing with. They're not going to opt for the smites. They're going to opt for the turn. Taxa can't smite the Baron if he's dead, and Jinray will take him down. A double kill for Fourth Wall, and now in a 5v3, the Baron is much more tantalizing.
Why don't other teams do that?
Just kill Taxa.
Just kill Taxa? Yeah, just kill Taxa. Why aren't
But he can't get the smite still. I mean, Verdant are very, very strong right now. Niter, Nile, very, very strong. Faye not going to be able to jump forward and find the engage as Verdant not going to be able to find their way into the Baron pit either. Blue going down. Nile trying to dodge, but he gets a multi-man stun. Ute with that ultimate is going to keep the Jax alive. This could be disastrous for Verdant, but it's Fourth Wall that are able to clean them up. How the hell have Fourth Wall just got a Baron versus Verdant?
I told you, man. If I don't know what I'm doing, how on earth can Verdant know what I'm doing? Oh, I told you, man. I tried to warn you. You thought I was joking. You thought I was coping. But no. In fact, Hitbrain is officially the single worst person at predicting things wrong on the face of the planet right now. Because Fourth Wall could actually defeat Verdant. It's real. The turn they made on Baron was brilliant. Verdant are so used to just, they're thinking, oh, great, Taxa just gave us a Baron. What an idiot, having never watched any VOD ever. And Taxa's used to just walking in there and taking it anyway. Not so this time. They do have a comp with good turn. What's the characteristic of Fourth Wall? They win these short fights. They have Engage. They have Nico. They have Nautilus. And Chimera is on point this game. Yes, all of the bounties on Nico, but Chimera on bot lane was making the plays, on mid was making the plays. On that Baron, made the plays, and Jinray, the Messi of the NLC, followed through brilliantly, and my god, is Messi running circles around his opponents right now.
Beautiful stuff. Jinray pulling the step overs on the Rift. And Verdant being punished for their sluggishness, dare I say. We said they're a team that takes a little bit longer to close out when they're in advantageous positions, and what can happen when you play like that is a team is able to find a Hail Mary fight and brings the gold back to within 1,000 difference. Now, of course, you look at Verdant, you look at the pedigree, you look at the names on this roster, and you are thinking, even though The game's in a little bit of an even state right now. Surely they can close out.
Oh, it's a rough one actually.
Yeah.
So when it comes to 4-Fall's advantages, they still have this ticking time bomb. Look at the itemization there on Lulu Zeri. I think even the optimal scenarios, given how much pressure Nilla is putting out on the map, they're not going to be able to break the base. They're not going to be able to find an inhibitor, and that's what you need to do, because you have to be able to split Nilla away somehow, or you just keep making play on Nilla. And if you do that, you're wasting the Baron, and you're not getting this Drake. So, very difficult, precarious scenario for 4-Fall. They've opted to go straight in. They've opted to go straight into the Drake. I'm tripping, I guess. I thought that was what the first Drake was. Okay, cool. So this is going to be the Soul. That could be pretty good for them, given how much of their team has to dive and throw their bodies into the side of Verdant. This wouldn't be a useless Soul for them to get, but the whole reason they're not able to get more of this Baron is that this Nilla pressure point on top lane is unanswered. Completely unanswered. And now the Drake's gone. Now they decide to answer it. Verdant can use this to fix the other side of the map.
Yeah, but Nilla isn't able to take down that tier 2 tower in the top lane. And look at the build coming out from the Jax. This does feel a little bit more teamfight oriented. Stuff like the Black Cleaver, stuff like the Frozen Heart gets the most value when there's multiple people that you can apply that to.
Yeah, for sure. But it's not like it doesn't give any individually for himself, right? Yeah. Like, that's going to be pretty immense value. What I'm wondering is this a hull breaker angle for the Jax? Is that how we want to play this, right? Because if the enemy plays super hard in, Nilla has been at multiple points in a period where things go a little bit differently, and he's basically 1v3. Maybe that's the play. Maybe you just all in on the hull break and keep playing away from him, and accept that if 4-Fall get these short fights, that's disadvantageous to you. So let them force whatever they want around the Jax, and we play away from them until we're at a point where we can tank everything that they do. You will be at that point eventually on Lulu Zeri.
Yeah, but you've got Taxa in the front line as well. It's just like very, very difficult to kill too. And I think you've got a little bit more of that time in this map state, because it's 2 dragons to 2, 4th wall. They haven't really broken the base, so Verdant, they've got time if they want to wait for that scaling. Gooby has 3 items, so the Zeri is online now, but she does only get stronger.
Yep, only stronger, and this is honestly the pinnacle, or not the apex and not the peak, but this is the point at which Zeri Lulu wants to fight. They want to find it, and they feel confident they can win everything, and it only gets worse from here, unfortunately. They've hit the break point. That's the best way to put it. They've hit the break point in this combination, now that the Titanic Hydra is finished.
You just see there, Verdant try and catch out Faye on the side lane, but with the Blast Cone, able to knock himself away. And real thing, team's going to be fighting over for Baron, spawning in 45 seconds. If you can get this on one of these guys that has been sitting in the side lane doing a lot of split pushing, you can get loads of value.
Yeah, 100%. But you don't have the easiest time going in second, and you definitely don't have the easiest time if you go in first, because 4-Fall, they've shown that they are fully willing to just balls to the wall engage on you at any point, and that Nico is extremely strong, and you don't have a response to it yet. Like, Syndra, your low mobility carry, is the one that is most vulnerable to these forms of engage, right? And the Zeri has to pay attention to that Nautilus's R usage, because if that R is up, she can be controlled quite easily and has to remove herself from the fight. Maybe it's only for a few seconds, but that few seconds is enough to burst damage that's on the side of 4-Fall. They're dancing around it. Nilla's putting pressure on bot. He has unleashed TP. Faye is nowhere near Mega Gnar. That's a big thing right now. And there are no flank wards for 4-Fall. Is that at the very top there? Is that a ward?
I think that looks like some sort of like blue trinket or something. I think that might be what's going on there.
Blue trinket in the Raptors rush. I mean, like all the way at the top there.
Ooh, I do not know actually.
It's like a smudge.
I can barely see that. Minimap's too small. Make it bigger.
What is that? Cameras on the smudge.
On the smudge.
That's a TP. You can TP
that's
on
a TP.
that.
You can TP to that. Okay, okay, all right. And do you know what? Like Naro, like Nico, well, pretty good things to TP with. But are going to have to make sure that they're watching their flanks. Similar to how Nord were having to keep Shackle off them, making sure that he's not diving in out of places that you are not anticipating. Verdant with the majority of the pressure around the Baron for the moment. Nille pushing in the bot lane, but does have TP.
Yep, does have TP, but is not currently a pressure point, so 4-4 have a decent amount of freedom to work with.
Oh, he gets the hook, but Taxa blocks it away. Gooby still going to be able to fire out their autos, but is going to get hit by the depth charge. Re-engage from 4-4, but they're not hitting the Zeri. They're not hitting the Zeri. They're not hitting the Zeri. Shimray stopped in his tracks, and Gooby is going to be able to open up. You left it up, and you have been punished. Full house for Verdant as Nille gets a double. They've got the ace. They're rushing for the base.
Gooby uncontrolled, you had to lay everything on him, otherwise there's no amount of damage that's going to take this Zeri down. She's even tanking the tower, and it does not seem to matter. That's her after tanking every single turret shot, by the way. And it looks like they don't even care about the
20-second
Baron.
death
They don't even
timers.
care about the Drake. Yeah, they're just going to end the game. They have double sheen going on here, why not? They should have the damage to do it.
You Zeri Lulu, hit 3 items, you take 1 fight, and you win the game. That's pretty much how it's gone for this composition. Verdant,
Wow.
finish out the first round robin with a win, putting themselves to 6-1.
Wow.